Holy shit! It's time to look at some holy shits of antiquity. We're taking a look at some evil popes on this episode. It's the Borgias on Deep Fat Fried!
Deep Fat Fried!
Welcome one, welcome all to Deep Fat Fried, the greatest podcast in the history of existence. Yes, indeed.
I'm on fire tonight, TJ.
Paul's on fire!
I'm on fucking fire for this topic tonight, TJ.
Paul is burning.
Love me some evil popes.
I'm burning for popes.
Hey, TJ.
Yes, Scotty.
Look, dude, I'm going to do you a solid tonight.
Solid.
Do you a fucking solid, buddy. That's what I'm going to do. People say, you know, I treat you unfairly. I insult you a little bit. Say mean things to you. So, TJ, tonight, I'm going to let you draw first blood, dude. I'm not going to say anything bad about you. I'm not going to criticize you. Even if you failed in your job, dude. Even if you totally fail, I'm just be like, well, TJ, these things happen.
Wow.
Until what?
You draw first blood.
What is defined as drawing first blood?
When you insult me.
Yeah, you got to hurl the first stone, is what he's saying.
When I insult him?
Yeah.
He wants to prove to people that he doesn't just shit on you for no reason, that you are an irascible piece of shit.
Right.
So he's going to wait and be the bigger man tonight and wait for you.
You know, I think you're solid, Scotty.
What's that?
I think it's a solid fucking gold turd is what it is right there.
Jesus Christ said turn the
You're a
other cheek,
liquidy,
man.
You know what? You're not a solid. You're a liquidy diuretic shit come out of my ass, bitch.
All right, man. You know what, TJ? I'm sorry you feel that way, dude.
So I just drew first blood, so...
You know what, TJ? I'm going to turn the other cheek, dude.
You're going to turn the other cheek, the other ass cheek?
Yeah, man.
As you fucking blast diuretic shit from your mouth?
You know, maybe that's the case.
All right.
Maybe that'll happen to me.
Okay.
Maybe it's going to happen, dude. I don't know.
This is such a weird inversion. It's like you're Scotty and Scotty is you.
Whoa.
It happened, dude. You guys mind swapped for a second.
Mind swap. Maybe we did that scanners shit, you know, the end of scanners.
Yeah.
Where they fucking...
Oh, yeah, they body swap or whatever.
They don't body swap. They kind of... He projects himself into the bad guy's body.
Dude.
And
Right.
Yeah, he gets his body.
you know, whatever. That movie sucked, honestly.
Yeah.
It really
The head exploding part's cool, though.
Yeah, I mean, I had a much fonder memory of that movie than a present-day viewing
It's not very
imbued
good.
in me.
It's slow.
It's slow
It
as
really
shit.
is.
And there's not much that happens.
Nope.
Yeah, so whatever. I mean, there's been some good Cronenberg movies, but that ain't one of them.
That ain't one.
Anyway, that's not what the subject's about. But before we get into the topic, I guess we should go ahead and shill our Patreon. So our Pessimist Productions Patreon, we're at 2,843 patrons at present.
We're getting close.
Dude, we're so close to the 24-hour show.
24 hours of...
We're going to be nailing down the 12-hour show date after the show tonight, so you guys will know the date
an
soon.
announcement on our social media tonight, and we'll probably be making an announcement on Wednesday's Flash Friday at the top of the show as to when you can expect the 12-hour show to happen. We've already got some plans for it. I think it's going to be really good. Of course, you know, why wouldn't I say that, though? Can't trust me. You're going to have to see for yourself. But yeah, 2,843 patrons. How far away does that put us, Scotty, from the...
157.
157 more patrons, and you guys have bought yourself a 24-hour fucking show. So,
Holy cannolis, dude.
And just really briefly, I guess we'll go over all the shit you get when you join the Pessimist Productions Patreon. You get the Friday episodes of Deep Fat Fried. You get... an exclusive Abandoned Hope from me. You get Cynics versus Cinema from me and Paul, which you already got this month.
Yeah, you got two this month.
Got two of them this month, yeah.
And
Ideology, which we've already done some of that. Maybe we'll do a little bit more this month. You get some custom ideologies that are available only to patrons. Now, of course, we do ideologies all the time, but it's maybe nice to go in there and do it with a more exclusive crowd.
Dude, I had fun when we did it with the smaller crowd.
Oh,
we
yeah.
were riffing good off of the audience. Everybody was participating. It was good times.
Because it's top-tier motherfucking people. Only the best fans become patrons.
I got good and salty.
Anyway, that's not what this is about. What today's show is about is the Borgia popes. There was two of them. Scotty, you were the lead researcher on this particular episode.
No, that's true, TJ, but I couldn't have done it without you, buddy.
That's okay.
Wow.
Stop it. I don't even like it.
No,
dude.
don't tell him to stop it.
I
It's
don't fucking
beautiful.
like it.
Fucking
It's
beautiful
not
moment,
beautiful.
TJ.
It's not beautiful
Oh
at all.
my God.
It's gross.
Look at you two. You're brothers and you love each other.
You love me, buddy.
Scotty, would you hit Paul, please?
Oh, I'm not gonna hit Paul, dude.
Oh my God. All right, so who were the Borgias? If you guys haven't watched like the Showtime show, or I guess there was another shitty show, Borgia family,
Couple shows, plays, shit like that.
Spanish Borgia.
The Borgia.
Borgia in Spanish is spelled with a J instead of a G-I-E. A G-I-A, it's a
The
G,
Italian
a
spelling is
J-A.
the more
The Gia.
the
yeah.
Gia.
Descendants of a noble line, originally from Valencia, Spain. Established roots in Italy, became prominent in ecclesiastical and political affairs in the 1400s and 1500s. The House of Borgias produced 2 popes and many other political and church leaders. Some members of the family became known for their treachery. 4 Borgias,
Treachery.
I think most of them are known for their treachery.
4 Borgias became especially noteworthy in a historical sense. Alfonso di Borgia.
The first Borgia Pope.
He established the family's influence in Italy, became Pope Calixtus III in 1455.
Calixtus
Fun
sounds like
fact,
a Darth,
the last
dude.
Pope to take that name.
Darth Calixtus.
Yeah. It really does.
Better than Count fucking Dookie, dude.
Count Dooku.
That would be better. Like, wouldn't Dooku's character be a million times better if he
His name
was
was Calixtus.
Count Calixtus?
Oh
Yes.
yeah, dude. What the
Yes,
fuck?
he would.
What the fuck was George Lucas thing?
Rodrigo Borgia became a cardinal of the Roman Catholic Church and later Pope Alexander VI.
Guess who made him a cardinal?
Well, yeah, his
Yeah, no, I mean it's
his uncle,
obvious.
or probably. I mean, I actually heard that a lot of times when they had illegitimate children, they just claimed they were nephews.
Yeah.
So it might have been his son.
There's a lot of,
Have you met my new little newborn nephew?
but officially it's his nephew.
Right.
We don't know. I mean, he's not alive. So can't be
As
tested.
cardinal and pope, Rodrigo fathered a number of children by his mistress Venosa Catanea.
Yeah, he did.
I don't know.
Dude, I can just tell. A name like Venosa, you know that's a freak.
And then this
You
guy-
know that's a freak.
This guy is Cesar, but I think it's with pronounced like a J. It's like a Jashar, something like that.
Cesare?
Cesare. So Cesare Borgia, son of Rodrigo, achieved political power while ruthlessly attempting to establish a secular kingdom in central Italy.
It'll ring.
Error.
It'll ring.
In Centro, while attempting to establish a kingdom in Centro Italy.
Right.
And then Lucretia Borgia, daughter of Rodrigo. patron
Ooh,
of
she
the
was
arts,
fine.
Became famous for her skill at political intrigue. Also had 5 husbands, kind of
Mm-hmm.
atypical.
Well, engaged. I think she was married 3 times, but engaged 5. Or
Something
engaged or
like
married 5 times.
So, Italy, we have to kind of talk about geography, kind of strangely enough.
The state
here.
but Italy did not exist.
Italy,
in
as we think of it
1494.
today, it wasn't a country. That didn't happen until like the late 1900s.
I think it was like
and shit.
1865 or something like
Okay,
18.
so 1800s then.
1800s, yeah.
But back then, Italy was all these different little kingdoms.
The late 1900s. Italy became a fucking place in 95 or something.
1995.
It was like about 95 or so.
Anyway.
1996 or so. Oh, sorry. Italy became a country.
So it's a lot
officially.
of like principalities. It's city-states. Florence, Naples. The Duchy of Milan, Venice. All vying for power. All vying for influence.
Yeah, it was 1861 that Italy became a country.
Yeah, 1861. I was 40.
So, you have all these different fucking little, what are they called? Principalities or something?
City-states, principalities.
City-states, principalities. Naples, Sicily.
A duchy. The Duchy of Milan.
I thought this said PayPal the first time I read it. The PayPal states.
Yeah, the PayPal states, dude.
They got a bunch of little tiny ones that don't even have the names for on here.
Well, they're up at the top by color.
Oh, yeah,
so
yeah,
pink
color.
is Mantua.
Because they just couldn't even fit.
Yeah.
They're so small. But this is like, Italy is not a huge country, so for it to be
No.
this fractured is kind of crazy. And all of these had their own. Like, do they have all their own independent governments and shit, or are they still kind of centralized?
These were all rivals.
So everyone here is competing.
The major rivals were obviously the Papal States had a lot of influence. Naples, Milan, and Venice and Florence, I'd say.
All the biggest.
Those are all the biggest ones.
Okay. Cool shit. All right, so this is how Italy was broken down at the time. Way more infighting and shit. Now, it's not even really been a stable government since its formation.
Well, I mean, it just went from basically having these city-states to now more of, just political infighting, not having, be able to form a government.
Can you bring the map back up?
Minority governments.
There was something interesting. Like, in that big area of the Kingdom of Naples down there was a big blob that was way deep in it that looked like it was owned by the papal states.
Yeah, hold on. How do I reopen a tab that I fucking closed? Is it like Control-Alt-T or something?
I don't know what it is.
I don't know what it is either. So
Well, never mind.
whatever. Should have said something sooner, Paul.
I tried. As I started to speak,
Just look up
it went away.
Open your browser and
You were so-
open map of Italy 1494.
You were in such a fucking hurry to get our faces back in front of everybody. Just leave that map up the whole show.
Oh, come
my
on,
God.
Paul. Come now, Paul.
Enough of that.
Enough of that, Paul.
Enough of your shit, Paul.
Dude, it's really hard not to insult TJ. Because he just...
Is it hard? Are you
dude,
you
like,
finding it?
He naturally just pisses you off.
What?
See, look at that. Right underneath, like where it says of.
Right.
It looks like there's little blobs that
Yeah.
are owned. Either is that Ottoman ownership, or is
don't
that
think
papal
so.
state
It
ownership?
looks like it's the same color as the papal states there, so I'm assuming
Yeah.
that those are
So they have like these little chunks in the middle of Naples that are just like, yeah, we own that too.
the
Yeah,
weird
we got
papal
that.
strongholds. So that's kind of weird.
Yeah. Anyway,
But yeah, there you go. There's that important tidbit of information.
Really, really pertinent information.
it looks like a boot kicking a ball.
It really does. Yeah, the boot. Looks like a high heel boot, too.
yeah.
Well, they are Italian.
So this motherfucker here, I'm about to pull up on the screen for you, is the first Borgia Pope.
Calixtus III.
Yeah, this is Calixtus, or his birth name was Alfonso di Borgia.
You sure this isn't the new lead singer of Ghost?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Papa
I don't know.
Emeritus the Seventh, or whatever the fuck. I like his gloves.
Yeah, those red gloves,
Yeah.
man.
Those red gloves are legit as fuck. I'll just put that out.
I mean, that's a statement right there, especially when you're wearing all like neutral tones and whites and shit, but your hands are just like blood red. I wonder if the painter did that. Gave him blood red gloves to signify the.
He's probably just doing that, to make the picture pop, dude.
He's probably just doing it because he fucking was a badass motherfucker and wore some red gloves.
He liked to wear red leather
he
gloves.
wasn't a freaking pope, dude. He was a pope, man. Can you say, TJ, are you ever going to be a pope in your life, dude?
Yeah, when's Pope TJicus, dude? Never.
Probably not. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'll declare myself pope. I'll become an anti-pope.
Anti-Pope TJ.
I'll show up at the Vatican and be like, I am the true pope. So this fucker here, as cool as he looks, he had a fairly uneventful reign. He was kind of...
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Scotty.
It was basically a compromise. The two families, the important families in Rome at the time, what was it? The
Colonna and Orsini?
Yeah, those two families basically settled on this guy because he was old. He had a very advanced age, and it was kind of assumed he wouldn't really do much to basically break that balance that they had. And also, like I said, he was old, so he wasn't going to live very long. So it's kind of just like, this kicks the can down the road. We'll have this feud a little bit later, basically.
So these two influential families are feuding. They're like, all right, one of our fucking houses is going to end up choosing this next pope. Let's just fucking defer this conflict a little by putting an old fuck in the pope seat.
And also someone that wasn't Italian.
Right. So they didn't expect him to reign long. And I guess he probably reigned a little longer than they wanted him to. He didn't do much in his reign, like I said. His main things he's notable for is he approved the retrial of Joan of Arc because she had been, burned at the stake and declared
Yeah, heretic. And
a heretic against the church and all this. And
a lot of good it did her.
she got a retrial under his reign, a posthumous retrial where she was found to be innocent.
How nice.
He was also...
They ended up, I think it's funny how they did it, too. Because she was super popular with the people, right? The people loved her even though she had been condemned as a criminal. And so he wanted to be able to like embrace her and be like, yeah, I'm the guy that redeemed Joan of Arc. So he just found this other fuck that was involved in her prosecution that had also already died and was like, it was all his fault. Yeah, the church persecuted an innocent woman because of this man's misdeeds. He is the evil one. Joan of Arc was and I just think it's funny.
And she is now.
Yeah.
Following the fashion of the time, he showered favors on his nephew, Rodrigo, whom he made cardinal and generalissimo of the papal forces and who later became Pope Alexander VI. So his main thing is just that he set up his nephew in the church to the point where he was going to be Pope someday.
It's just nepotism. He just wanted to make sure that the Borgia family kept some grip on power.
Yeah, and he declared via this probably sham trial that Joan of Arc was innocent.
And I mean, also, you just have to understand, really, this was just par for the course at the time. It was, you got into power and you reported a bunch of people in your family, mainly nephews, which, as me and Paul were talking about before the show, nephew was a lot of times thought that it was probably you were the father, but you just didn't want to claim it, so it was your nephew.
So it's like, this is my new nephew.
This is my nephew.
You don't even have any siblings, though. Yeah, well, this is my new nephew.
That's my nephew.
Why is your new baby nephew sucking on your wife's tit? Oh, we're just helping out my brother's wife.
Well, they didn't have wives, so.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So they're Catholics.
They're celibate, Paul.
That's right. They're not allowed to. I forgot.
They don't do that stuff, Paul. They don't do that stuff.
I forgot about all that shit.
Yeah,
My mind just doesn't go there. I'm not a Catholic.
So this is our main focus right here.
Oh, hell yes it is.
This fat fuck here.
Look at this beautiful motherfucker here.
This rotund gentleman.
My goodness, he is a well-fed gent.
His papacy was marred by scandal, accusations, excesses.
Lies. Let's just say what they are, TJ.
Damned lies.
This man would never hurt a fly.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Look at him.
Good guy. Just look at him. Yeah,
Just a big bowl full of laughs,
That gentle, forgiving soul.
It kind of looks like Paul, dude.
I bet he jiggles like really pleasingly when he laughs too.
Honestly, dude,
and he shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly.
Paul, dude, you're probably related to the Borgias, dude. I'm looking at you, and I'm looking.
I'm not, dude. I'm 100% fucking British, Irish.
I think someone fucking lied to you, dude.
I got the proof, man.
That test is
I got the 23andMe.
Altered, dude, so you didn't know about your true heritage.
Oh, they don't want me to know that I'm the fucking successor to the Borgia dynasty.
You are, dude.
Fuck, man,
You
yeah.
gotta embrace it, man.
All right. Orgies for everyone after the show.
Orgies all around.
Orgy for you. Orgy for you.
So it's 1492.
Columbus sailed the ocean blue.
Yep. And that'll actually come into play a little bit later.
Interestingly.
There was a change in the constitution of the College of Cardinals during the course of the 15th century, especially under Sixtus IV and Innocent VIII, both popes, obviously. Of the 27 cardinals alive in the closing months of the reign of Innocent VIII, no fewer than 10 cardinal nephews. There were no fewer than 10 cardinal nephews. 8 were crown nominees. 4 were Roman nobles, and one had been given the cardinalate in recompense for his family's service to the Holy See. Okay.
How many were
for his mom's direct service of the Holy See?
People actually risen through the church. This of this number.
Only 4 were able career churchmen.
Wow.
So most of these people had bought their way into the papacy or had nepotized their way into the papacy.
The dominant religion of the continent that they lived on were mainly just people who had just got in there by
There had been a
bribery.
total businessman nepotism takeover of this church at this point.
The 4 that were probably there, I was telling Paul, was probably just the guys that actually knew how to run everything. They actually knew what the fuck they were talking about. The other people were just there to vote.
They were probably just tokens. I mean, Borgia's moment came at the opening of the conclave to choose Innocent VIII's successor on August 6th, 1492. The early favorites had been reduced to 2, Borgia and Cardinal Ascanio Sforza. In a clandestine meeting, they tried to outbid each other. So that's how this shit was decided at the time. You know, it was a bidding war to get to see who became pope. It had nothing to do with some holy, sacred, we need to
who will
pray
be better
to
for
God
the church,
and all
who will
this, and
advance
who's going to
the
be the better
church's
leader.
agenda.
No,
Yeah, nothing
it was a bidding war. It was like an episode of fucking Pawn Stars up in there.
Did they have like one of those like auctioneers going like, all right, I got one papacy. I'm starting at 1,000 bushels of fucking donkey loaded silver. I got 1,000 bushels. I'll take 2. I got 2 for Sforza. Yeah. What a way, and it's just openly done that way too. It's just like, well, these are the 2 guys who are probably going to be the pope. Let them fucking decide.
Well, it does say it was a clandestine meeting, so it was a little like they had the courage.
Well, it wasn't clandestine
Not
enough for
courage,
us to not be reading about it, so.
Yeah, what is done in the dark will be brought to the light. Sforza was staggered when Borgia enumerated his possessions on offer: sacks of money, jewels, silver plates.
Whoa.
I don't even know what this is, but archbishoprics?
Archbishoprics. That means like titles.
Oh.
He's made the archbishop of this or that.
Basically, he was giving away like church
Land,
and possession
yeah.
and income.
Land and
opulent
titles.
abbeys,
Title, yeah.
palaces.
Yeah.
Borgia told Sforza to take his pick. Borgia won, but Sforza preferred instant cash to unreliable promises. So Borgia forthwith dispatched 4 mule loads of silver, some accounts say gold, to Sforza's palace. Sforza was also promised the vice-chancellorship, a position like unto another papacy. So basically, in order to get this popeship, he had to bribe and cajole his way to the top. He ended up buying it from Sforza for 4 mule loads of silver, possibly gold, and vice chancellorship, which basically was described to Sforza as like, you'll almost be the pope. I mean, I'll be a little bit higher up, but you're going to be damn near the pope. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so.
So that's kind of interesting. It's just decided like that. There's no fucking higher pursuit than just money.
Just unlike politics today. Oh,
yeah,
wait.
I'm glad we've evolved past all this now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've clearly moved past this, as you can now give unlimited money to whatever.
Dude, when did Hillary get her 4 donkey loads of silver from Trump, I wonder?
It's probably.
Oh, Trump gave gold. Come on.
Oh, you think? Oh, yeah, you're right.
I mean, it's
He
Trump,
would.
Dude.
Nor did Borgia
the
forget
best.
the other conclaves. Castles, monasteries, fortified towns were also on the bargaining table. Cardinals received dioceses and benefices with rich revenues. The unparalleled simony showed that the cardinals were not really interested in providing the church with a spiritual leader, but in increasing their revenues. No fucking shit.
Like they've always fucking been.
And simony is the act of
Buying ecclesiastical offices.
yeah, buying ecclesiastical offices and getting bribes and shit within the church.
At least back in the day, it was just clear, like, there's a few people that own all this shit, and they can just give you what they want if they want something. So it's like basically
Anywhere, anytime.
it's just a joke. It's like, oh, you want a town? Hey, I have a fortified town in Spain. You can just have it, and you can have a fucking archbishopship.
You want a town? Sure. Yeah. Here, take my
Paul,
town.
I'll give you a town for it.
Sounds good.
I got several towns.
Which town do you want?
I just got a text from Chelsea saying my mic is way louder than you guys', so I've backed way far off of it.
Go ahead and lower you down then.
Okay.
Yeah, TJ.
See, you wanted to do it again.
I mean, the weird thing is that when I look at his gain on voice meter,
Well, that's because it's all being filtered through one thing, so it's
Right.
all being, but it's like on the board. You should look at where I'm bouncing on the board versus everybody else.
all right. La. Do your quiet one again.
Quiet.
Quiet. Yeah, you are a little louder.
See? Damn. Don't do it, Scotty. Don't do it, Scotty. I see the look on Scotty's face, dude. He just wants to do it.
La. All right.
No, I'm gonna go a whole episode, dude.
So hopefully you're better now. I'll keep an eye on the chat. They can let me know.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, so
Thanks, TJ.
we are on
Back to my granddad, Alexander the Sixth. Here.
Well, he'd have to be like more like great.
No, he's my actual. He's my direct granddad.
Direct granddad.
Yep.
So this is your father's father. We're looking
Yeah,
at.
my dad's a real old man.
Your dad is old as shit. Okay.
Paul was conceived when he was like 102.
We Borgias live a long time. We're fat fucks, but we don't die.
Fat but long.
Fat, but don't fucking die, dude.
Indeed, Sforza made no pretense at the opening of the August 11th session. He impatiently told his brethren to cut out the rigmarole of praying for divine guidance, commenting that in all the conclaves where he had been present, the Holy Spirit did not choose the Pope. On this occasion, Mammon, not God, had spoken. Rodrigo Borgia was unanimously elected Pope Alexander VI. The young Cardinal Giovanni de Medici was heard to remark, "Flee, we are in the hands of a wolf."
I love that Sforza comes to this like Mammon conclusion after he gets his 4 donkey loads of gold or silver. You know what I mean? Like, weren't you Mammon in this? Like,
yeah, I mean, it wasn't like he was some innocent fuck that wasn't, doing the same shit. I mean,
he gets his 4
he was in the fucking bidding war.
He gets his 4 bushels of fucking silver, and then he goes and moralizes to everybody about how it's Mammon and not God. Dude, yeah.
It's just the even older tale of the fucking fox and the grapes, dude. Oh, the grapes were sour. He still got his fucking, his silver, his gold, or whatever bribes he got, but he didn't get what he really wanted. He wanted the power. He wanted to be the Pope. And he'd been outmaneuvered, and he basically realized, I'm not going to win. So what's the best deal I can get? And obviously, even though he got the best deal he could, he's still not happy.
Yep.
Why the fuck would
still
you be?
Salty about having to be the almost Pope.
Oh, yeah.
The pseudo-Pope.
Yeah, I mean, like, he gets in the bidding war. He tries to do this shit. And then afterwards, when he loses the bidding war, there's like, God damn, this system is fucked up.
He didn't even really lose. I mean, I guess he lost, but like he got fucking 4 donkey loads of silver for his trouble. I don't call that a loss.
Yeah, and he got the Grand Chancellorship or whatever the fuck else. I mean, it just shows how I mean, like he's fucking he gets all that and he still wants to be a sour little bitch. Like, man, the fuck I'm doing, man. Fuck you.
It's the same thing, like, dude, if you're vice president, dude. It's like, what's your job really? I mean, yeah, it's still gonna be pretty good. He's still gonna get a lot of shit, especially back then. I mean, you tell the guy was still living an awesome life, especially for Renaissance time period people. But it's like, it's the same thing, dude. It's like you wanted to be Pope, teacher, whatever the fuck you wanted to do, and you got fucking outmaneuvered and outbid. You'd be whining too.
Yeah, you'd have a little sour grape afterwards.
Sure.
Anybody
I'm sure he got
would.
over it. I mean, life goes on.
He wanted to be Pope Sforza, dude.
So
Maybe would have been a better Pope.
in 1492, Rodrigo, of course, became Pope Alexander VI. Alexander VI had clearly violated his celibacy vows
Oh yeah.
by having multiple affairs.
I think that happened pretty much. He was Spanish, so that probably happened when he was like 13.
One of which produced his 4 most famous children, Giovanni, Cesare, Lucretia, and Geoffrey. I don't know, something
Jeff.
like
It was Jeff, dude.
Jeff, his buddy
And
Jeff.
Craig.
And Craig.
And Dylan.
And Kyle. To be fair, though, that was the norm for the time period.
So it was pretty much the norm for them to preach to everybody else about how the priesthood was celibate, but to be out fucking everything that moved and
Yes.
have multiple kids and
Correct.
shit. Okay.
One of Alexander's major goals was to increase the power of the Borgia family. He made Giovanni the captain general of the papal army. He made Cesare a cardinal. He allied the Borgias with various powerful families in Italy and Spain by arranging marriages for his children. The most sensational rumors about the Borgias involve orgies at the Vatican. Vatican orgy, dude.
Yeah, there was one
Vaticorgies.
famously called the Chestnut Banquet.
Yeah, banquet of chestnuts happened. He said it was rumored, anyway, that Alexander VI invited 50 courtesans, basically prostitutes.
Yeah, prostitutes.
For a lascivious banquet
And that
of chestnuts.
His children attended and watched.
It said that, Cesare and Lucretia were there watching the orgy. but others say that did not happen.
I was fucking born in the wrong time, man.
You want to?
I literally was born in the wrong
orgy?
time. Yeah, dude. Can you imagine how delightful it would be to be a gentleman of the court at this time and to get a little silk-wrapped invitation from Pope Borgia saying, you were invited to the resplendent feast of chestnuts, and you know exactly what that means. It's just going to be a bunch of whores that you get to fuck indiscriminately, you know what I mean? And you're like, oh, definitely going to mark my calendar for this one. I mean, I was just born in the wrong fucking time, man. I would have been a great gentleman of leisure. You know what I mean? And there's no great gentleman of leisure anymore.
All right, Paul, Paul, your ass would just probably be like working the fields or something.
I'm just saying, if I was in that position.
Okay.
No, I wouldn't be working the fields. Fuck you.
You'd be working
I'm
them
way too
fields.
smart to be working the. You know
Paul
who'd be
would
working the
shoveling
fields?
shit, dude.
Paul
The
be
dumb
getting
shit's
whipped.
going. Yes, me lord. All right. Off to work I go.
Like the peons from Warcraft, dude.
Hodely dodely do. No, dude. I would have been a schemer. I'd have been a gentleman. I may not have been like, one of the main guys, but I'd have gotten a fucking little invite to the chestnut ball.
I don't know, dude.
I'd have been on the list.
Dude,
I'd have
Paul,
had a little fiefdom somewhere.
the bouncers would be like, no, sir. You're not allowed. You're not on the list. Look, what's it? Paul Parkey? No, not on the list.
Not seeing a Paul Parkey.
You have to step to the side.
Try Cardinal Zigo.
Step over there. Yeah, still not seeing it. Born in the wrong generation, they say. Yeah. Someone said Paul wouldn't last 60 seconds. I think he'd last more than 60.
Oh, dude, no, they're right. At the chestnut orgy, I'd blow it in 60. Yeah,
Oh,
you're
yeah?
right.
Okay, well, I don't
they're
think
right.
that's what
I'd
they
blow
meant.
my load in
Yeah,
60 seconds or less. If I lasted 60 seconds there, it'd be
That'd be a fucking achievement.
champion feat for me. I hope they're not talking about I wouldn't
Dude,
last
Paul would
60
be
seconds
pumping,
in general.
pump and dump, dude. Pump and dump.
I mean, when you're at the chestnut ball, aren't you trying to fuck as many bitches as possible? Of course you're going to pump and dump. I ain't got time.
Ain't got
no
time,
Zigo.
dude.
There's a bunch of courtesans and shit that need
Oh,
fucking.
so you're trying to do all 50 in the single night, dude.
How often do you get to fuck 50 chicks in one day?
How often do you get venereal diseases?
Oh,
How often do you
yeah.
not even know venereal diseaes exist?
I'm pretty sure they knew they existed.
I don't know. They probably thought it was just some fucking punishment from God or some
God
shit.
hath cursed my penis.
He has taken my staff and my rod.
God has punished me for my lascivious nature and given my tallywhacker the whore's touch. Luckily, my doctor put a leech on the head of my prick, and it should be better
Yeah,
soon.
bled me for several hours.
Yes, he bled my prick for several hours, and it should be fine the next time.
So, much of the Borgia's sexual intrigue actually involved Alexander's daughter, Lucretia.
Ooh, Lucretia got around.
In addition to being engaged and or married 5 times for political reasons, she was rumored to have had incestuous relationships with her father and brother. She definitely had an affair with the Spaniard known as Peroto, whose body was found alongside an attending lady's in the river Tiber one morning.
Tiber.
Oh, man.
I think.
How shocking.
It is broadly assumed that Jassari ordered that murder. He also almost certainly ordered the murder of Lucretia's second husband, Alfonso of Aragon, whom she seemed to truly love. So why? Just jealousy? Just like, no one fucks my sister's pussy but me and my dad?
Probably because she needed to be married to somebody else.
Oh, they probably needed someone else married off to her, so they're like, oh, unfortunately, her other husband died.
He's dead.
You know that nice guy you were gonna get married to? He tripped and fell on his way to the market today and busted his head wide.
Fell into a dagger 15 times, you know?
Oopsie.
Kept trying to get up and just fell
But don't
right
be
back
too
on.
sad. We got you a new husband already. He's right over there. The big fat old guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he's
He's going to be a lot better for you.
Wasn't there one of her marriages annulled because...
Her first marriage.
Her very first marriage was annulled because her husband apparently was impotent?
Well, that was the reason that was claimed.
That was the reason given.
Yeah, the Pope dissolved the marriage based on him being impotent.
Yeah, couldn't get a boner. This marriage is hereby annulled.
I mean, there's really especially back then, there's no use to being married if you can't make kids, so.
No, that's the main thing.
Worthless. Throw him in
Matrimonial
the trash bin. So here's an interesting thing. This is where it kind of ties into the Americas and shit. The papal bull. I don't know why they call it that. The proper name for it is Catera. I don't know how it's pronounced.
It's Latin.
Yeah, it might be even Jatera or something. I don't know. It sucks. Issued by Pope Alexander VI on May 4th, 1493, played a central role in the Spanish conquest of the New World. The document supported Spain's strategy to ensure its exclusive right to the lands discovered by Columbus the previous year. It established a demarcation line 100 leagues west of the Azores and Cape Verde Islands and assigned Spain the exclusive right to acquire territorial possessions and to trade in all lands west of that line. All others were forbidden to approach the lands west of the line without special license from the rulers of Spain. This effectively gave Spain a monopoly on the lands in the New World. So this... Pope Alexander VI, of course, was a Spaniard himself, so he gave Spain this sweetheart deal that says, yeah, this newly discovered continent, yours, baby. It's all yours. No one else can lay claim to it at all.
And obviously, the main people that have issue with this was, obviously a lot of the other countries.
Everyone who isn't
Everybody
Spain,
in
basically.
Europe,
That's what I'm saying, yeah. But the Portuguese in particular, because they actually later on went to have a treaty. It said this bull was kind of largely ignored because obviously the other powers were like, what? No, we're not going to just give up.
Fuck you.
We're not going to give up all claim. The Spanish are obviously the ones who are like, this sounds good. Yeah, this bull should be respected. But they kind of also realized practically no one was going to really respect that. They're just going to either ignore it or just openly defy.
So here's why this bull is a big deal even to us to this day. The bull stated that any land not inhabited by Christians was available to be discovered.
Oh.
Claimed and exploited by Christian rulers, and declared that the Catholic faith and the Christian religion be exalted and be everywhere increased and spread, and the health of souls cared for, and that barbarous nations be overthrown and brought to the faith itself. This doctrine of discovery became the basis of all European claims in the Americas, as well as the foundation of the United States Western expansion. Manifest destiny. In the U.S. Supreme Court, in the 1823 case Johnson versus McIntosh, Chief Justice John Marshall's opinion in the unanimous decision held that the principal discovery gave European nations an absolute right to New World lands. In essence, American Indians had only a right of occupancy, which could be abolished. So basically, even in our own, there's legal precedent in the United States recognizing the bull, this decision made by this fat fuck who bought the church, who bought the Pope, the papacy for himself.
Well, the funny thing about this is that the two main
he made a declaration, anywhere you go that's not Christian, you can take it over. And the Supreme Court, as recently as 1823, is like, yep.
Yep, sounds
good.
Well,
darn tootin'.
Basically, the two parties of this treaty who were purported to resolve this from was Spain and Portugal, which in my research they kind of ignored the bull. They didn't really even go by what it said. So it's kind of interesting.
But they liked that part.
And there's a big debate about how much this actually did influence the slavery of the region, because a lot of people argue Spain would have done it anyways. These other powers would have done this anyways.
But they were given carte blanche by their fucking pope.
By their church, yeah.
Yeah, by the church, where this it's been saying it's moral to do
this. The religious
this.
leaders are like, yeah, damn right, that's fine.
And what's funny, too, is the Catholic Church actually took a different stance initially. And the other research I was doing, that it showed that people had actually condemned this practice before of just going places and forced conversion to Christianity.
So that this was actually on its way out until this fat, disgusting fuck just declared, no, it's fine.
I mean, it was intentionally vague to kind of please both sides, and basically, like you said, there's all these city-states, all these different factions.
It was this big, messy half measure that didn't really resolve anything.
Yeah, that's pretty much the way I looked at it.
It ended up creating an idea that changed the face of human history, though. Like this, because like you said, we used it to expand westward and take lands from the Indians as Americans.
It's our Christian destiny to go forth and conquer these lands,
right.
basically.
Yeah, the idea is really what lasted. It wasn't really the bull itself. It was just the idea that these Christian nations were allowed to just take whatever they wanted. Because, look, there's this line here, And I mean, a lot of people realize that line really wasn't even accurate. It was just that, it's just like you said, go west, take whatever you want, because they're not going to be Christians, and they all knew that. It was basically these powers realizing there's a huge land grab about to happen. There's a bunch of shit, and we need to be there first, and we try to make our claim. And they're preemptively trying to make that big ass claim.
I mean, we still do this. Like, what was the first thing we did when we set foot on the moon? We stuck an American flag in the ground,
The moon is now property of America.
It's our manifest destiny to own the moon.
Then Mars, then whatever comes next, dude.
Lucky there were no natives on the moon. We'd be like, you must accept Christianity.
Oh, you didn't hear about that, TJ? There were natives on the moon.
Oh, we wiped them out.
Yeah,
Wiped
smallpox.
out, dude.
It's over.
Here's moon blankets laced with smallpox.
No one remembers the moon.
Oh, the malaria blankets, which is was actually been debunked. It's not true.
Whatever, it's fun. The bull made headlines again throughout the 1990s and in 2000 when many Catholics petitioned Pope John Paul II to formally revoke it and recognize the human rights of indigenous non-Christian peoples. I guess Pope John Paul never got around to that.
Yeah.
Not that in my research, I did not see that, so I would say no, he did not.
Yep. He did not hear the pleas of his flock.
I mean, not that it really would matter at this point.
Yeah, at this point, it's kind of just like...
I just think it's funny that the church isn't ready to give that up yet. And it's probably smart, too, because if shit devolves and becomes chaotic again, church can just say, look, it's always been that way. Christians can take what we want. This is ours now. Ours.
The papal disposition, which was never subsequently recognized by any other European power, was jointly amended by Spain and Portugal in the Treaty of Tordesillas in 1494. Yeah, but as Scotty said, they didn't really abide by much of it. It wasn't really that big of a thing to them. The main thing they took from it was really this idea
slavery's all right.
We have the providence to conquer any non-Christian peoples. These are barbarians. We can do what we want.
Which is funny. In antiquity, barbarians were actually considered anyone who was non-Roman, because Rome was obviously the center. Which another place too that really just fell from grace. But from what it was. But so it's kind of an interesting idea. I think the idea of these people are barbarous because they're not exactly like us. So it's just kind of funny that you use this as the auspices to just take whatever you want.
It all belongs to you now. So we do have a depiction of Alexander Borgia from the TV show The Borgias.
The Borgias.
Not to be confused with another show just called Borgia, which I hear is not as good. I hear that neither of them was that great, but
neither was that. I've seen the Showtime one. I've seen some episodes of that one, which was okay, but it wasn't like an awesome show or anything.
All right, so this is we're not going to watch the whole thing because I don't know how copyright protected this is. I'm also not going to full screen it. But
I'm sure
this is
very copyright protected on YouTube.
This is a portrayal of Jeremy Irons as Alexander VI.
We will excommunicate Florence if the French armies are admitted.
Excommunicate the entire city, Your Holiness.
The Medicis, the Pazis, Machiavelli, the whole Signoria. And we will have that Savonarola burnt. We will bear no more opposition to our word.
Then you must excommunicate half of Christendom, because half the world is against us.
We will not tolerate this heresy.
Okay. So you see how he's being portrayed here.
Sure.
Kind of just strikes me as a very generic sort of evil villainous thing, almost to the point of needing a twirling mustache or something, or a Palpatine as emperor sort of thing going on.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame that it's hard to really get the essence of the character of some of these people that have passed so long ago, because it's I mean, this is all just through our modern lens of what we assume a guy that did the things that Alexander VI did would be like.
I mean, I've read description of the guy. They said he was pretty affable and charming.
That's the thing. He's a big fat
here,
dude.
he's just
He's over the top.
He's playing it like the stereotypical Hollywood villain. We will excommunicate all of them. This is actually a clip. This is from season 1, episode 7. Scene features a meeting that was held in 1949 by Pope Alexander VI.
1949.
Whoa.
Sorry, 1494.
Okay.
The Pope was alarmed. I'm keep moving things into the 90s for some reason today. The Pope was alarmed with the imminent invasion by the French army. Nothing really came of that. Italy was then not a country as we know it now. We've already talked about that as a collection of republics and city-states and stuff. But yeah, this meeting actually did happen. It's a chapter of this guy's life we're not really getting into because, I mean, like, there's so much we could talk about just in terms of the politics of that time.
I mean, you can imagine how fastidiously all these little meetings and declarations were. I mean, we could spend an entire show just talking about all the little, maneuvers he made while he was the Pope and not even get close to covering it all.
In this scene, he goes on to make the case for why they should be excommunicated, and when he calls for a vote on it, none of them want to vote for his position. They're all just like, this is stupid. We're not going along with this. And he actually doesn't get popular support for it. And they even chastise him and basically tell him, like, this is not going to work. You're just going to devalue the worth of excommunication if you do this. And so he doesn't actually get his way on this one.
Well, the interesting thing in the power dynamic is the church realizes that their power is kind of taken away if you make that bold of a thing. It's better to try to keep them within. You know what I mean? If you say, "Oh, okay, you're all excommunicate, you're all gone," there's no coming back from it.
Well, the logic is that they're going to get invaded one way or the other, whether they excommunicate them or not.
Yeah.
So they're better off having a position where it's like, we know, you guys are still part of the church.
Like,
exactly.
Think about how much more interesting this show might have been if they'd had the balls to not just dip this guy in the villain pond and, you know what I mean, have him come out looking like this and actually make him, a little bit like he was. A big, fat, charismatic, likable dude that was just trying to advance the position of his family above all others.
Yeah, the betrayal in the show is too Snidely Whiplash. It's too, he's just evil, I'm buying this. It's like, I feel like they just Showtime took a very sensationalist approach with the series, and sometimes that works. You kind of want that. You kind of want the intrigue. You want the storylines. You want it to be the sex and the violence and all that shit. But you can still make believable characters, and
you can still have all that stuff and have Borgia be portrayed more humanly.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's too much of a villain.
Yeah,
he's too stereotypical.
The other crazy thing that we probably should talk about before we move on to his death is that he was kind of an instrumental example for Martin Luther when he did his Protestant reforms.
The Reformation,
nailed the proclamations onto the church doors and stuff. Criticism of Alexander VI of Rodrigo Borgia was pretty central to a lot of his criticisms because he viewed this as the height of the problems that were ensnaring the Catholic Church, which we've kind of talked about here. It being all about money, all about
family,
family connections and money and political.
So the
struggles.
Nepotism, the simony, the just constant political violence.
This was kind of
the naked just avarice and just greed.
Rodrigo Borgia's reign as Alexander VI was kind of looked at as like, whoa, this is really getting the fuck out of hand. Because it just got worse and worse, and he was kind of the culmination of this corruption, this threat of corruption.
Yeah, and it really wasn't necessarily that he was alone in this. Like he was the shining, example of corruption at the time. It was just he was the one that everyone remembers for the corruption. It's like the Ponzi scheme. Why is it called? Because basically Ponzi was the first one that was really notably busted for the the scam. It's kind of the same thing here.
Right.
He's not really much worse than his contemporaries. It's just that historically he's viewed in that way.
Well, he was. I guess he was just the guy that where it came to like.
Yeah, it was the guy that everyone knows.
The straw that broke the
bad
camel's
pope.
back.
Yeah,
right.
The bad fucking pope, dude.
So he had a pretty interesting death. This is from Ranker.com. Details about Pope Alexander VI horrifyingly over-the-top death.
I don't know if it's horrifyingly over the top, but we'll see.
Let's see. Let's just see. So the cause remains a mystery.
See, look at that portrayal of him there.
Yeah, look how fat he is.
Fat.
Just a big old jowly fuck.
And Jeremy Irons, that's another thing, is not fat enough to be him, dude.
No.
I mean, it should. I guess it wouldn't matter if he was portrayed more. I don't know, dude. I'm really disappointed in the way they take such an interesting character and just blackwash him to the point where it's like,
I am evil.
yeah.
So he fell ill in August of 1503. His illegitimate son, Gisari, got sick too, along with the cardinal who hosted the dinner party preceding their illnesses. Much speculation arose that someone poisoned His Holiness. There were several theories about why someone would do that, but two of the most popular were the fact that he had many enemies. Well, it's just...
Yeah.
And the fact that he, the head of the church, also poisoned many people. Perhaps someone poisoned him out of retribution, or he accidentally imbibed poison he intended for someone else. But Alexander VI's symptoms align with one seen in malaria, too, which spread through much of Rome at the time. So it could have been malaria, could have been poisoning.
Either one's plausible.
Could have been he poisoned himself on accident, meaning to poison someone else.
I mean, it could have been neither one of those.
Yeah, it could be something totally unrelated to
Could
any
be
of that
just,
speculation.
he got infection. Who knows?
So it started with a fever. Whatever. This is kind of funny. They tried to bleed him to cure him. This was a common medical practice at the time.
Gotta keep your humors in balance.
Trying to rid Alexander VI of his illness and rebalance his humors, the doctor let his blood. According to sources, the doctor marveled at how much blood flowed freely from the Pope's body, up to 13 ounces. The ebbs and flows in his fever caused his doctors to diagnose him with tertian ague or malaria, with symptoms reappearing every 48 hours depending on the severity of this type of malaria. The Pope could have experienced convulsions, difficulty breathing, and black water fever if he suffered from malaria at all. Neither medicine nor mass healed him.
Well, no shit.
I didn't think mass was going to.
Yeah, I didn't think prayer was going to.
And then the days where medicine is like, we got to align your humors. I'm not surprised that failed as well.
We'll bleed you.
By the fourth day of his illness, the Pope had already tried various medicines with little improvement. He continued to vomit and excrete green substances. Gross. Growing weaker and weaker. Who wrote that down?
Excrete greens? What does that mean? Where did he...
That means he was shitting green shit.
Damn, dude.
Wow.
On the fifth day, August 18th, Alexander VI confessed, heard Mass from his bed, took the Eucharist, and then lost consciousness. By late evening, he received his last rites and died shortly thereafter. At the time of the Pope's death, 5 cardinals were present, along with bishops, grooms, and members of his papal curia. So then his servants and companions looted his bedroom, not even when he was dead, but right before he died.
So as he was laying there dying, getting his last rites, his servants were looting his treasury.
Yeah, right before the Pope died, an order was issued that declared no one could leave the Vatican. Regardless, many people managed to leave, taking valuable treasures with them, including Gisari's right-hand man, Don Michelato. On Gisari's orders, Michelato and his men drew daggers upon the cardinals and forced them to open the cabinets where the papal riches lay. They seized chests of money and as much silver as they could carry. Because they left the cabinets open, others began to take items after Michelato and his men departed. Servants took clothes and anything they found, leaving only a few chairs, pillows, and rugs behind. So when they found out he was dying, they're like, holy shit.
Bonanza.
We don't know what's going to happen now, so everybody get what you can and fuck off.
His son is like, nope, we're fucking cleaning this shit out. Nope, the next fucking Pope ain't getting this shit.
During his illness, he never mentioned his family. Kind of strange, considering he was all about advancing his family. As he was dying, Alexander VI never called out for any of his children, including his son Gisari and his daughter Lucretia. Sources vary on the exact reason why, but it was likely due to his sick delirium or generally selfish personality. The ill Gisari also never visited his father, and there is no indication that anyone other than the clergy members spent time with the sick pope. The secrecy surrounding Alexander VI's illness may also explain why no one was allowed to see him in his final days. So maybe he was just so bad they didn't want him, or maybe they just didn't want anyone else influencing him.
Right.
Maybe they wanted
Didn't want
to
to make
have
any last-minute deathbed proclamations or anything that would fuck things up.
Trying to keep him, And he actually did. It's one of the things we actually didn't really discuss, but he actually did try to basically turn the papacy into a line of blood succession thing.
Didn't get there.
Didn't take. The church was not having that.
Yeah, he wanted to supplant the Italian families that were kind of already doing that and kind of install his family and have the Borgias be the sole family to kind of give the nod, like, yep, you can be Pope.
Never quite got there.
Yep, didn't get there.
They washed his body, dressed him in robes and slippers. Who cares? His death was met with celebration and cataloging. When Alexander VI's death became public knowledge, many people expressed relief. The general public lined up to get a glimpse of the Pope, and a fear took hold that if they got too close, people might take revenge on his body. Thus, they placed him behind a railing in St. Peter's Cathedral so no one could touch him. The Pope and his Borgia family inspired both fear and hatred, so much so that some feared no one would attend the Pope's funeral. The papal court ordered any and all clergymen to attend, with a penalty of losing their office if they failed to show up. Some of the churchmen who turned up for the funeral never participated in the final event when they saw the anger and animosity of the crowd assembled. Out of the 200 torches prepared for the funeral procession, Johann Burchard stated only 43 were used, while the body remained on display. The cardinals took to inventorying the papal treasury, furnishings, and possessions of Alexander VI. So when he died, people were just pretty much happy, and they were just kind of like pissed and ready to like desecrate his body. Not at all mourning for like, no, the Pope is dead. It's so sad.
Yeah, the church will kind of show up like, yeah, we're here.
We're here out of obligation, but we ain't with him.
Yeah, ain't with him. We gotta make a I mean, they're mainly there to see what was left over too. Let's be honest.
His body became increasingly bloated and black. On the night of that Alexander VI died, his body remained in the papal chamber with 2 lone candles lighting the room. Blah, blah, blah. So this guy, Johann Burchard, writes, the composition and blackness of his face increased consistently so that he looked at 8 o'clock when I saw him like the darkest cloth or the darkest Negro, completely spotted, the nose swollen, the mouth quite large, the tongue swollen up, doubled so that it started out of the lips, the mouth open, in short, so horrible that no one saw anything similar or declared to know of it. So that's
this just might be like, look how evil he was.
He was so evil that his body turned black and bloated.
All this has to be taken with a grain of salt, of
right?
Course. I mean, you can't just.
It could also be that whatever killed him was just that nasty that
that's true.
It continued to ravage his body even after death. His body became a thing of horror and humor. Numerous ambassadors who attended Alexander VI's funeral commented upon how awful his body looked. They described him as entirely black and as black as the devil, with numerous candles and torches surrounding him in the Roman summer heat, only making it worse. People avoided looking at him, and most would not kiss his hand, a custom during papal funerals. Once removed,
I ain't kissing that.
Fuck no, dude.
Once removed from St. Peter's Cathedral, the body was taken to a side chapel to be interred. As the body traveled along, the porters and carpenters made jokes insulting what Alexander VI was and what he had become.
So as they're carrying him back, they're like, look at this fat, bloated sack of shit.
I guess they put him in too small a coffin. He was a big fat fuck. They didn't even bother making a custom coffin for him. They just stuffed him in a little... like, good enough for you, you fat fuck.
You're fat and you're dead. Fuck you.
Alexander VI's successor forbid any prayers for him.
This guy, Pope Pius, that only lasted for like 30 days.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, he did not last very long.
Pope Pius III was elected in a contested conclave election in September 1503, but only served as pope for about a month. In that amount of time, however, he prohibited a mass for the repose of the soul of Alexander VI. According to Pius III, praying for the damned holds no purpose. Pius III worked alongside Cesare Borgia, who survived the illness that afflicted both him and his father, to maintain peace in the Papal States. Cesare also fared poorly under Pius III's successor, Pope Julius II, an enemy of the Borgia family for decades.
So yep.
Was Pope Julius from the Sforzas, dude?
I don't know.
I'm not sure which rival it was, but
let me go ahead and take a look.
But it was trying to think which one it was. I didn't really look too much into him, so I can't give you an answer off the top of my head.
I'm just curious.
He was Giuliano della Rovere.
Okay.
Rovere, so no. That was who he originally was. But
basically, we didn't really get into him.
So after his death, there was a really quick flipping of position on this guy. He was unpopular among the people. So
yeah, the Pope after him is kind of like...
Was immediately like, he's damned to hell, and he's gonna fuck him. Don't
honestly,
pray for him. He's damned.
It was another, basically the Borgia's family, his son basically swayed Pius into being elected.
You don't really hear about the Borgia family too much after this. Their influence kind of waned from there. So the question, I think we have to ask at this point is: was he as evil as as they believed he was? He was definitely guilty of nepotism and simony.
Well, it's like we talked about with Caligula.
Yeah.
I mean, the victor writes history, and clearly he was not liked even in his day, and history has not looked kindly upon him. I mean, was he probably as bad? My feeling is he was probably a little bit worse than his contemporaries, but probably not much worse.
Yeah,
it was just like he was the lightning rod. He was the scapegoat.
He and his father or uncle definitely bribed their way to the papacy.
There's no question.
They used their power to advance their family as fully as possible. It was all about moving the Borgias further up the ladder.
It was about familial aggrandizement. That's all it was. It was totally self-centered.
They were obviously prone to... They poisoned rivals. They
assassinated them. Killed
assassinated
them.
people all over
the place. They had no
the
problem
place.
killing people that got in their way.
No, you guys are... Why are you slandering the Borgias? Look, people have accidents all the time. And the fact that some enemies of the Borgia family have an accident here and there, a guy's head falls off, dude accidentally drinks a bunch of strychnine. I mean, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
The problem,
Alexander's favorite son, Juan, actually was stabbed to death.
The problem is that none of the stuff he did is really stand out for the time.
No,
right.
Not particularly.
All the other popes were doing the same shit.
They
were all bribing. They were all nepotistic.
All the
they were all
city-states were
killing
doing
and raping and pillaging.
It was just that the difference was that the church was kind of supposed to be above all that. That's really, I think, what it was. It was kind of like these people, these city-states and these principalities, they were all used to doing that, and they kind of looked at the church, and the church kind of supposed to be better.
I think it
kind
of just boils down to him being Spanish, really. It's like
that was a big part of it.
He's an outsider. He's not one of us. He shouldn't be in power.
The majority of popes have been Italian.
Yeah, let's just make sure this never happens again. What are we going to say? Let's say his body turned black like the devil. Let's say that his face twisted into a horrible grimace.
What you say, the devil. He black.
A lot of this shit is probably just booty chatter from the families that came later that wanted to make sure that this never happened again.
I mean, did he do nepotism? Did he do simony? Did he do murder? Did he break his celibacy and fuck a bunch of whores and shit? Yeah, he did all that, but is he really different from any other pope around that same time? Not really. Maybe a little worse, maybe a little better. Who fucking knows? He's not particularly evil. It's just that the institution that he was part of was evil. The only thing that really separated him is because he wasn't from one of those that inner circle of Italian families.
It wasn't the inner sanctum
traditionally run
where
things.
It was okay.
So they just spread a bunch of lies about him.
It was
and
a
shit.
social disruptor. These other people when they had to run their scams and did stuff where it was all socially approved. The family was known. There was kind of like it's okay because it's like. It's like we're used to now. The political dynasties we have in America, like, oh, it's Hillary. Oh, we know Hillary. Oh, we know this person. It's just they recognized the names, they knew the people, and then it was, oh, some foreigner's going to come here and tell us what to do and take over the church and all this shit. No, fuck this shit.
Yeah, that seems to be the main thrust of the
I
objection.
do like that the Borgias are responsible for the founding of the United States, though. Directly
responsible, huh?
No, I mean, you can see the dominoes, though. He's a little worse than your average pope, so Martin Luther takes special note of the Borgia dynasty and how fucking reprehensible and nepotistic and greedy it was. And, starts what becomes the Protestant Church, which is then persecuted in Europe, and a large portion of people move to the New World to escape that religious persecution, and they found the United States. You see what I'm saying? You see how it happens, TJ? Click, clack.
The pieces all just fall into place.
Not only that, but he made the declaration that, hey, you're free to conquer this because they're not Christians.
Yeah.
You're really discovering the lands.
Dude, this shouldn't be called America. Amerigo Vespucci didn't discover shit, dude. This should be called Borgierica, dude.
Borgierica. This is the official petition to change the name of the United States of America to the United States of Borgia.
Look, dude, did he not solidify the practices that we use today to create a great American state that we live in?
Yes.
Nepotism, the selling of political office or religious office.
I mean, he's ahead of his time.
The taking of
as far as I'm concerned,
ours. Dude,
Borgia is the true founder of America.
Yeah, the first American.
Oh, the true founder of America.
He's the first American.
Yep.
The first real American.
We're taking Pope Alexander VI.
Rodrigo
He wasn't
Borgia.
a citizen of Spain anymore. He's now an official. Posthumously, we've made him a citizen of America.
Real
United
American,
States.
dude.
Not only that, but the first citizen of the United States of America. All of our foundational values can be found within him, Corruption,
greed, avarice,
nepotism,
lust.
conquest, lust, all of it. God damn it. He's let's just put him on the screen
He fucking
again.
died fat, bloated, and alone, dude. Abandoned by everyone he thought that he loved him.
Look at him.
He's a real
He
fucking
looks like
American.
a fucking American.
Dude, you should play fucking... Dude,
I'm going to play some patriotic music.
Yeah, dude, proud to be an American, dude. Something like that, dude.
There's a patriotic music for you. This is a tribute to America, dude. I don't know how good it is, but it's supposed to be patriotic.
It doesn't sound very patriotic. It sounds kind of sad.
Let's go a little forward.
This doesn't... Oh, I guess it's Oh Beautiful. Man, this brings a tear to my eye.
Wow. What a true American, guys.
God shed his grace
What a fucking
on
beautiful
thee.
fucking song. And a beautiful man. That without him, this country wouldn't be where it is today.
I want everyone to fucking salute this great man.
If he had been a non-corrupt, a fucking good man, wouldn't have this country like we do today.
If it wasn't for him, we might be under the heel of some king or despot somewhere.
you know what it'd be?
Not free to
Nazis.
stab each other in the backs
The
and
fucking Nazis
cajole
would
and
rule
bribe
America.
each other out of our property and take things from one another by manifest destiny. We'd be a bunch of puppets.
You know what you'd be speaking right now, Paul? You'd be speaking fucking German, dude.
Terrible.
Speaking Portuguese, probably.
You know what?
Some shit.
Thank God for Rodrigo
God
Borgia.
bless him.
Thank God for
Best
Pope Alexander
Pope
VI.
ever. The American Pope, Alexander VI. In fact, I'm changing his name to America VI.
Yeah, dude. America the First.
America the First. The best
Pope America the First.
The only pope that fucking matters is the fucking first
You know what? They can
pope.
do all this shit posthumously. They can exonerate people and blame other people. They can do all this shit.
Make him the
We
first
can do it
American
too.
pope.
We're taking Borgia, bitch. You guys didn't want him anyway. You said his body was bloated and black. You don't want it. Send it over here.
You know what his body was, Paul? It was red, white, and fucking blue.
Exactly.
We're going to fucking go steal the corpse of Borgia and bring it home to America.
We shouldn't have to steal it. They
going
should
to
just ship it to
ship
us.
it
He's
to
ours.
DC.
It's clearly an American.
It's coming to D.C. It's
Send
going to
it
get a monument.
fucking back. I'm going to fucking write to the fucking Catholic Church right now.
So by accident of birth, he happened to be
Send
born
us
in
Borgia
Spain
corpse.
at a time when America didn't exist, so he's not an American. How's that work?
Send the corpse on over.
Yeah, give us his bloated-ass corpse. We'll build him a coffin big enough for him. We'll take good care of his body over here.
Yeah, TJ, send the Catholic Church.
I'm
address.
finding the goddamn Catholic Church's public relations email or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, you got to just let him know that we are claiming the
body.
corpse of Rodrigo Borgia.
Just send it on over.
I think I found it. Let's see. This is the Vatican's official fucking website. Where's the fucking contact? They need to know.
They need to be informed that we deserve this pope.
Stupid website's all in Italian. There's got to be an English version. Vatican website. Here we go.
Get it. Let them know.
All right, here's the fucking English one. What is this? Prayers, speeches, bullshit, whatever. I'm writing to him. I encourage everyone else out there watching this show to write to the Catholic Church. Let them know, return the corpse of America the First to his homeland of America that he helped to found.
Pope America the First deserves to live in the land that is based on his life and ideology.
Ideals. Yes, he does.
Bring him home.
You know what? You guys don't appreciate him. You call him evil and all. He was mad. Fuck you.
It's a goddamn shame that a big, resplendent man like him is stuffed in a coffin that's too small for his body. We will take care of his remains. Pope America the First will be taken care of just like he should be.
You know
here.
what the beautiful thing is, Paul? Is that in America, this great country, we won't even buy him a special one because there's so many fat people in this country because the country is so wonderful and so bountiful. We'll be able to buy him one right off the fucking rack.
We'll build a gold... You know what? We're going to tear down the Statue of Liberty and build a golden statue of Rodrigo Borgia.
Why do that?
We'll bury his corpse in the belly of it.
Build a statue of Borgia behind the Statue of Liberty cupping her titties.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, dude.
You got a good point. Yeah, just giving her the old reach around.
Yeah.
Maybe one handful of titty and one hand going down the front of the dress or some shit.
Guys, he would
having
like it
with
that
his
way.
tongue out.
Dude,
having a body time with Lady
want
Liberty.
Lame monument, dude. He wants to be fucking Lady Liberty in the ass, dude.
Dude, that's such a good point. Yeah, man. We need to just update the Statue of Liberty. Get some Borgia.
I'm glad we've discovered a new American hero today.
The first.
Yeah, the first American hero, Pope America the First. Fuck yeah. Thank you guys for watching. I'm writing the church. You better write it too.
Yeah, write the church.
Right now.
Let them know.
Right now, let them know.
Vatican.va,
America the First.
motherfucker.
Send them on over.
English. Go to the English version. Just type Vatican official website on fucking Google. Go here. We're going to find the goddamn contact page. We're going to demand the return of our fucking true Pope, America the First, bitch. All hail Borgia.
Yeah, hail Borgia.
Hail Borgia.
Have a good one.